That guy can't stop talking. I'm the same way.
I love it. There's a discussion going on in the back room. No, it's not in the back room. It's here in the studio with Paul Seaburn and his sidekick, John DiNallo, wearing maize and blue.
Go
Sorry,
blue.
everybody else.
Go blue this weekend.
That's
Go
right. But it's time for What in the World with Paul
That's right.
Seaburn. And we're so glad that you have let us talk about our team.
For a whole 10 seconds, and that is the limit that I have.
Oh, no, that's not. Wait a minute. I need more time.
Don't worry, John. Everybody, this is Paul Seaburn, and you are tuned into What in the World, everybody's favorite weird news podcast. Real news, sometimes strange, always funny. That's our motto. I am here in my Brecksville, Ohio, Northeast Ohio studio. Beautiful weather today. Nice warm fall, almost winter day. How many days before Thanksgiving? 2 days before Thanksgiving.
2 days, yes.
2 days. That voice you just heard there is Karen Hale, our producer and co-host and media mogul at newclevelandradio.net, which is our platform, full of great podcasts besides What in the World. But of course, you go there first for your laughs and entertainment, and get away from the bad news, the politics, the religion, the sports, unless you're we'll get to that. Anyway, so like I said, real news, sometimes strange, always funny. I am the head writer and editor at Mysterious Universe, and some of our stories will have a little bit of a paranormal flavor, not always. If you want more paranormal stuff, please visit my site there, mysteriousuniverse.org. Also on the screen and in your ear right now is John DiNallo, our head of sports and trivia and color commentator. And he is in color today. He is in blue and maize, as Karen said. If you know what colors those are, maize and blue, that's Michigan's colors. John is rooting for the Wolverines this weekend. Is there a line on the game, John?
I saw, Paul. Yes, initially the line was 7.5 or 6.5, I should say, to Michigan. To
Michigan, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and they're playing.
That can change. That was as I think as of Sunday, I believe. So that can change.
Right.
Yeah.
They're playing in Columbus, Ohio, at the home of the Ohio State University. I believe Bigfoot went there. Yeah, Bigfoot is rooting for the Buckeyes.
It sounds a little peaked today.
Yeah, well, he doesn't want to get you upset, John. That's
okay. He's a considerate soul. Then I appreciate.
There you go. Oh, I do want to mention. I didn't mention this last week. I talk about this all the time, that John and I have known each other almost our whole lives. We went to college together. We're fraternity brothers. However, we went to rival high schools. And John mentioned this before the show. They're more rivals today than they were back when we went to school. But nonetheless, they were rival. And in fact, they played each other in a playoff game this past Friday. And John already has something to celebrate because his team, Holy Name, beat my team, Padua, something like about 56-14 or 21.
56-21 was the final.
Yeah, quite a blowout. So that's all we're going to say about that. But I have good luck to Holy Name this weekend in their playoff game. John said he may go, so we'll get a recap next week. But you didn't tune in to hear about our favorite high school and college teams. You tuned in to get the weird news from around the world. Today, not just around the world, but around the solar system. I've got a story from the moon. We got a big moon mission going on right now, so I want to talk a little bit about that. The strangest Thanksgiving dinner I have ever found. We got Thanksgiving coming up in 2 days, so what better way to kick off the show with a story about Thanksgiving dinner? Nail polish for beer drinkers. This is you, John. Oh my God. Specially designed nail polish for beer drinkers. So you'll want to tune into that.
I'll be interested in hearing about that one for sure.
Yeah.
Chip wars of the canned kind. If you want to know what that means, you have to tune in somewhere probably about halfway through the show. We'll explain that. Dressing versus stuffing, another Thanksgiving story we'll be talking about. If the shoe fits, it's too small. This is one of my stories from yeah, from the my Facebook page, where I try out a number of jokes and stories during the week. So if you like me on Facebook, you'll or friend me or whatever it is you're supposed to do, you'll see some of those as well. More strange news. We've got some more world records. You know, we love world records. Again, from around the world. John's got a wonderful sport for us on What in the World of Sports, very seasonal sport. And then we'll play everybody's favorite weird news game, Bluff the co-host. So let's get right to it with some turkey news. That was my turkey imitation there. That's also my trivia horn. It kind of filled in for just about everything. Karen, I'll ask you first. You are going out of town, if I'm not mistaken. So you won't be cooking turkey. That's right.
No, I'm not cooking anything.
Okay. So what about John? I know the lovely Annette usually has a spread.
Yes, well, we're having a smaller version of Thanksgiving because we had a lot of Annette's family over on Saturday for her mom's birthday. So
there you go. Okay.
So we're in preparation mode right now. Today's Tuesday, and tomorrow will be the big day. And of course,
Yep. We also have a small crowd, 5 adults and 1 child, which means that everybody will be sitting at the children's table this year, not just me.
Absolutely.
Which is usually the case. Yeah.
There it is. There you go.
Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to a smaller crowd and less time to prep, less time to clean up, more time to have fun and watch football and eat pie. So
watch Detroit lose like they always do.
No, that's right. I think all those teams are blurred together this year. So so if you're in England for Thanksgiving, and they do it, they don't celebrate our Thanksgiving, but they do celebrate holidays and they do have turkeys. This is actually a Thanksgiving dinner that comes to us from England, from Heinz, as a matter of fact. The Heinz people, famous for their beans and other things that come in cans. Heinz has relaunched the Christmas dinner that they first announced last year, and I want to put it up here while I talk about it, so you know what we're talking about here. This is the Heinz Thanksgiving and Christmas turkey dinner.
Oh my God.
In a can. That's right. both a turkey dinner and a vegan dinner. They made 500 last year. They sold out immediately. So now they're making 20,000. I'm guessing that most of them are only available in England, but I'll bet, I didn't check to see if the Heinz.com or .org website might have them, that you could order them online. I like this idea. I would serve this only because if somebody at dinner starts talking about politics, you can fling a can at them.
You'd have a weapon. Right. Yeah, you have a weapon. Right.
Yeah. I would just, that's my idea of prep. Cut the can, pull the top off, stick them in the oven for 10 minutes till they heat up, and then give everybody a spoon and have at it.
Well, I'm going to put the link in the show notes because you can buy this online.
Oh, really? All right.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Well, so the classic version, the big soup, it's labeled Christmas dinner here. Classic version made with turkey breast, potatoes, carrots, parsnips, sprouts, cranberry sauce, pigs in the blanket, and sage and onion stuffing balls. All of that is in the can. Now, I can't see the size of the can, but maybe 16 ounces. If it's 16 ounces, that's an awful
21
lot.
Maybe 21 ounces. Yeah.
That's an awful lot of food in one can. So among the fans of this, and by the way, a real bargain. It cost 2 pounds, which is $2.39 in US dollars. So that's a you can't get a Thanksgiving dinner anyway. You could get 2, for $5. You've got 2 big cans of delicious canned turkey. Believe it or not, there are fans of this. Last year, Hollywood actress Drew Barrymore had tasted it on her show, and she described it as yummy and hearty. Now,
it looks good. So when they go out to the website to look at it,
yeah,
it
yeah.
makes you hungry.
It does.
Yes.
Because does it have real food there? Not that it's an actual picture of it in a bowl.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that? So by everybody out there, check out what is it? The Heinz.org.com.net.
It is. I haven't put it in yet. Wait a second. It's on the Food Network page.
Oh, the Food Network page. Oh,
Yep.
okay, good. All right, yes. So Drew Barrymore, I'm not sure about Drew Barrymore and her judgment of food. This is Drew Barrymore who went on the Letterman show and lifted her top for David Letterman. So it shows she has no taste. The vegan version, for those of you who are vegans out there, features a gravy flavored sauce. So that means that there's no meat in it, with a variety of vegetables and vegan sausage and stuffing balls. Now, both of these have stuffing balls, so I want to talk about that for a minute. Stuffing balls, I think, is perfect if you need a joke to break the ice at Thanksgiving dinner, and everybody's got their can of Heinz Thanksgiving dinner, and they're reading the ingredient, and somebody says stuffing balls. That would be John's. Stuffing balls? What are stuffing balls? I thought that's what jock straps were for.
Oh,
Stuffing balls. Get it? Whoa. Even Bigfoot likes that one. Stuffing balls. I think that's what got Charlie Sheen in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
One more.
Way of saying that, yes, yes.
Stuffing balls, not dressing balls. Dressing balls are what formal jock straps are for.
That's correct.
Dressing balls. So that's my lead into the difference between stuffing and dressing. Anybody, either one of you know what the difference is between stuffing and dressing? I'm sure Karen knows.
No. Oh, dressing you make outside of the turkey, stuffing you make in the turkey.
That's right. That's right. That it doesn't mean you make the dressing outside, like on your.
Okay.
Not inside the bird. There you go, John. I know. I'm sure you knew that.
No, I did not.
Oh, no, well, it's stuffing. The formal definition: stuffing is cooked in the cavity of the turkey, so the juices soak in the ingredients, making it more flavorful. Dressing gets cooked on its own and needs extra liquid to make it flavorful. So the lovely Donna makes both. So that's usually what we have. If it comes out of a box, it's called croutons. I'm not a big fan of that kind of stuffing there, but some people don't know how to make it. It's an old, everybody has their old family recipe. I'm sure the bag stuffing and the stuff in the box is good in a pinch. Now, the can. This is the other thing that if you look up the Heinz Big Soup Christmas dinner, Thanksgiving dinner, you'll notice that they refer to it as coming in a tin, not a can. And I have my good friends down in Texas, Simon, who is from England, and I have other friends in England. It always amazed me they referred to cans as tins, while we refer to them as cans. Do you know why that might be? Anybody?
No.
No,
I don't.
Yeah. Karen is already on her way to Thanksgiving dinner today, so we'll just move on. Believe it or not, the word can does not refer to the can. It refers to an Old English word, can, C-A-N-N-E, which means a container for holding liquids. So it doesn't have to be made out of metal. This dates back to 1000 CE. So I don't think there were cans back then. They were jars and ceramic bowls that they used for storing liquids. Canning, the process of storing in a container, began in the 19th century. And Napoleon came up with it, believe it or not. Napoleon needed food for his army, and he needed to be able to store it and carry it on his invasions. So that's where canning first became popular. but they use jars, they use bottles, and which is what we use today, mason jars, which are popular. Everybody who does home canning at home doesn't use a can, they use a jar. Canning moved to other countries, got to England and the United States, and in England they put it in cans, which were made out of tin, which is why they call it a tin. In the United States, even though our cans were also made out of tin back then, we preferred to call them cans. There's no rhyme or reason other than that. They're made from aluminum right now. We all know that. Now, I just happened to go to the store to get ready. I will be doing the baking for our dinner, which means I'll be making the pies. Believe it or not, in the United States, pie containers are referred to as pie tins, even though they are also made of aluminum. So figure that one out. So I told this to John, before the show, we were talking about this, and John couldn't pay attention. He was still mad about what I said about Drew Barrymore, because apparently he likes Drew Barrymore. He especially he says she has a nice set of tins.
Aw.
There's a thinking man's joke there for you.
No, that's a good one, Paul. That's a good one. Oh my.
So anyway, boy, we beat that Heinz turkey in a can to death there. All right, so let's take that picture down here for a little while and get back in your ear again. So we're gonna, as I said, we like to go around the world, around the solar system with What in the World. So this week we're going to the moon. We mentioned this before. The three of us are of a certain age that we remember growing up, the moon launches, the first trips into space. So that we're very excited. We used to stop school and be able to watch these launches at school. This Artemis is the first of the new generation where people are actually interested in space travel. So I've done a number of articles about it on Mysterious Universe, and they say that there's no humans on this particular ship that's orbiting the moon right now, but there are passengers. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah. There's actually some I hate to call it this, but crash test dummies that are sitting in the seats that the astronauts would be seated in, and they have various instrumentation hooked up to them to see how their bodies will respond to the various stresses of space travel. But the thing that I want to talk about is the Snoopy doll. Believe it or not, there's a I guess a dog-sized Snoopy doll that is dressed in a NASA uniform that they use to test weightlessness. So like they don't have an instrument to do this. This is a tradition at NASA. They send some sort of stuffed animal into space in the capsule. And when they reach zero gravity, they know because the camera picks up the animal floating around in the capsule. So Snoopy was the name of one of the three elements that went to the moon, that the lander and the thing that went around, and I forget what. Anyways, so Snoopy has a long tradition with the space program. Let's see, did I cover all that? Yeah. so they got out into outer space and they hit 0G, and Snoopy's floating around like crazy. And it was so amazing. I was watching a video, and all of a sudden Snoopy stops and goes to the window, just like he could see something. And as a matter of fact, you could see something going by the window as Snoopy's looking out. And it was a red biplane. And I thought, wow, the Red Baron is a UFO. Isn't that amazing?
That was a famous song that was done, Paul, in the 60s by the Royal Guardsmen.
The Royal Guardians. There you go, John. You came to rehearsal. I was just about to talk about that. That's right. The Royal Guardians, Royal Guardsmen. That song. This is my musical, the musical segment of our show today. That song was #2 on the Billboard charts in the United States. It was banned in Canada. Why was it banned in Canada? It had nothing to do with the Red Baron or Snoopy. It had to do with the fact that the Royal Guardsmen didn't ask Charles Schulz for permission to refer to Snoopy in the song. So they got away with it in the United States where he was, but in Canada said, no, you have to have written permission. So they got permission from him, and then The song was released released around the world. Very popular song. Remained on the bestseller charts for 12 weeks. I know, John, I remember that song. I'm sure you and Karen remember that song.
Sure.
What something interesting about that song, if and they didn't always play it on the radio, but there was an intro to it that was a man's voice speaking in German. Do you remember that part?
I do remember that part because I had the 45. I had that.
Okay.
It was a 45.
For you kids out there.
You didn't have enough money to have a whole LP.
Well, yeah, we all had Karen, we all had me and my brothers and my sister, we had collections of 45s.
Yeah.
45 was a record, a vinyl record with 2 songs on it, one on each side and a big hole in the middle. It's spun at 45 revolutions per minute, which is why it was called a 45. Okay, kid, back to the trivia. So, John, I remembered this German voice, but I didn't know what he was saying. So I looked up the lyrics, and I'm not going to attempt to pronounce do an impression of it. But this is what the voice was saying at the beginning of Snoopy versus the Red Baron. Danger, now we sing the story together about the pig-headed dog and dear Red Baron. So it was an insult.
Yeah, it was an insult to
Snoopy and all pilots, all American pilots in general, I think.
Sure.
Yeah. So now let's see. You knew the name of the song. Who helped Snoopy bring down the Red Baron? Do you remember who was his aide?
Yeah.
I know he's singing the song in his head for everybody listening out there.
But I'm trying to.
Bigfoot singing.
I don't know if Karen knows. I can't remember.
No, I don't.
Okay, so here it goes. Now Snoopy had sworn that he'd get that man, so he asked the Great Pumpkin for a new battle plan. He went to the Great Pumpkin for help. Great Pumpkin.
Okay, right. Okay.
Challenged the German to a real dog fight. While the Baron was laughing, he got him in his sight. Great song. Great imagery.
Now I remember that now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, before we had videos, music videos. Okay. All right. So I know John wants to know about the nail polish, so we'll move on to the nail polish.
Yeah, I am curious.
Yeah, I do too.
All right, I'm going to bring the nail polish up so we can take a look at it while we discuss this. So this is from the Coors. The people who make Coors Light, that's the Coors Brewing Company, but it's specifically for Coors Light. It's a promotion, a nail polish called Chill Polish. And the nail polish changes colors if the beer that's in a glass or in a can that you're holding in your hand is the right temperature to drink Coors Light. Now, John, do you care what temperature your Coors Light is when you drink it?
No, as long as it's cold. I mean, honestly, this seems to be kind of for the, for the select here or whatever, or the high end people that
the hotsy cool Coors Light drinkers,
exactly.
The bourgeoisie, but whatever they're called. Anyway, right. So apparently Coors thinks you're supposed to drink it at a certain temperature. So the polish goes on gray, Karen. Terrible color, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it turns blue if you wrap your hands around the can with the proper temperature.
What if I don't drink Coors Light?
I don't. Well, okay, that's a good question. It caused me to. So it's nail polish to wear while you're drinking beer, which caused me to channel my inner Archie Bunker. I've been watching some Archie Bunker videos and I was thinking like Archie Bunker. And the first thing I thought of when I heard that was, I got a great way for you to change the color of your nail polish. It's called doing an honest day's work.
That is from your inner Archie Bunker for sure.
Yeah, that's what Archie would say. If you're drinking beer and looking at your fingernails, maybe it's time to try online dating instead.
Yeah, probably.
Leave the bar. If you can't tell how cold your beer is by grabbing the can, check to see if you forgot to take your gloves off, meathead. So
Oh,
anyways, Karen, you're absolutely right. It can be used for other cold beverages as well. Not for
Oh,
yeah, I don't know what happens if you pick up a glass of or a cup of coffee or tea or whatever you might be drinking in
how about a cold white wine? What happens then?
white wine. Yeah, well, you're going to be grabbing it by the stem if you're doing it daintily. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't care. The I don't want to support. We've already given Coors far more publicity than they deserve on this show, since they're not one of our sponsors. Although
well,
we
they
would-
should become one.
they should
Yeah,
become one. That's
that
right,
one is
Karen.
right. I agree wholeheartedly.
Believe it or not, uh, the history, the little trivia here, nail polish dates back to 3000 BCE, to the Babylonians of all people. And it actually coloring nails is really what they did. They didn't have polish, but they used various dyes to color their nail. And it was not a female thing. It was actually a male thing back in those days. And it was the warriors who spent time, believe it or not, I wrote this down because I couldn't believe it. Warriors, before they went to battle, would spend hours having their hair curled and lacquered and their nails manicured and colored before going off to fight. I
Oh,
want to look good. I guess, if the reporters are there reporting on the battle between the Babylonians and the
really?
Thessalonians or whoever they fought.
Mhm.
John, you're the historian here. I don't know who they fought. Anyway, so they said that the warriors of the highest rank in the Babylonian army usually had black nails. If you were in the infantry, your nails were chewed off, basically.
Oh, boy.
Waiting, yeah, right. I mean, I
Please.
don't even want to think about that. Okay, so now we've got what was this? What did I say it was called? If the shoe fits, it's too big, too small. Remember that saying there. So
Sure,
this is
sure.
a story from Houston, Texas, for our friends down in Texas. This was on my Facebook page this week. Tanya Herbert of Houston, Texas, is 6 feet 9 inches tall. She is almost the world's tallest woman. So she's not quite there to get the Guinness World Record for world's tallest, but she has another Guinness World Record. She's a world record holder for the largest feet on a female living person. Her right foot, get ready for this, John, and then I'll put the picture up. Right foot was measured at 13.03 inches, over a foot and an inch. And her
Wow.
left foot was measured at 12.79 inches, 12 3/4 inches. She wears a size women's size 18 or men's size 16 or 17. Take a look. There she is. There's her 2 feet.
Oh.
And the photo next to her is a woman with a normal size hand on the bottom of her sole. And that hand is maybe more than half, but maybe about 2/3 the length of her feet.
Wow.
Unbelievably huge feet.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah.
How tall did you say she was?
She's 6 feet 9. 6 feet 9. Her parents
Oh,
are
wow.
6 feet 4, 6 feet 5. She prefers men to wear men's shoes, but in particular, men's size 17 with a steel toe, to stomp on people who call her Bigfoot. And I don't, even Bigfoot agrees
Yeah.
with that. I don't
Bigfoot.
blame her. So
She's
she actually, her feet help her get a job, by the way. She's a professional tackling dummy because nobody can tip her over because her feet are too big. So she lives in, this would be for the Houston Texans. She lives in Houston, Texas. She's always been taller than all of her friends and all the kids at school. In high school, she reached her full height and her full foot length while she was in high school. So she's actually could have gotten the record a number of years ago. Only problem with having feet that are over a foot long. All her life, she never got to play this little piggy.
Aw.
Poor thing, I
Aw.
know. Poor thing. Okay, now this story is for you, Karen. I know how much you love people like this. This is a married couple from South America. They also not only did they set a Guinness World Record, this is a record they already had. So they were rechecked and they have maintained their Guinness World Record status for the most body modifications on a married couple. All right, get ready for this. And there they are. Most body modifications on a married couple. We have two photos of them.
No.
Man and a woman, heavily tattooed. Also, but that's not the only body modification. What they're referring to is the various pieces of metal they have attached to their body. They have inserts under their skin. If you look on the lady's hand, she has an insert under.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm
it's
sure the guy
horrible.
had inserts as well. So they go ahead.
That can't be healthy, can it?
I think could be. I'm sure. Maybe they use organic dyes and.
Oh, yeah, right.
No.
Thanks.
A general question, a general question I have is like, how long did it take them to modify their bodies to the point that
Good
they're-
question. Good question. They met in Argentina 24 years ago, and that's right. They got married 14 years ago after they found a place to live that had no magnets or no hooks on the walls that they could snag themselves on. So they've known themselves. They've been doing this for 24 years. They met in Argentina at a motorcycle rally, believe it or not, at a motorcycle rally. And they bonded over their mutual interest in body modification. They were actually in a shop that sold motorcycle parts, and they were both looking for new bolts for their ears. And that's they love at first sight, I guess. So they they never lose each other in a crowd, because
they don't.
If they get separated, they just listen for the kids screaming, and they head towards that sound. So yeah, head to toe. The one of them has a forked tongue, by the way. They have, I have a listing here. So they have piercings, microdermals, which I guess are the things underneath their skin, body implants, dental implants, ear expanders, ear bolts, and one forked tongue. They both can't have a forked tongue because one of them has to keep a regular tongue to lick the envelopes so that they can send their payments to the tattoo parlor, because they must have thousands for all that work. Yeah. So anyways, I'll take that down. I know Karen doesn't want to have to look at that.
Yeah, I don't want to look at that.
I'll get my other photo ready here. So our next, you know how we like to talk about food. We were talking about Thanksgiving. If you need an appetizer for Thanksgiving, a good one is Pringles, which is my segue into a segment about Pringles. So people are actually love Pringles so much that they form websites and TikToks and all that stuff just to worship Pringles. So this lady, Liv Dainton, she calls herself a mega fan of Pringles. She posted on TikTok that she thought that Pringles should come out with a multi-flavored can, because Pringles, believe it or not, I haven't bought Pringles in a while. They come in 26 different flavors. John, are you a Pringle partaker?
I do like Pringles, but for some reason recently have not purchased any. It seemed that I would buy Pringles when we were on the road or on vacation or something, right?
Oh,
Because
good to eat in the car. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That kind of thing. But no, I am surprised that there's that many different flavors of Pringles.
26, yeah. Spicy, ruffled, light,
Sure.
lightly salted, you name it. There's a flavor. So
True.
so she said, you got all these flavors, everybody loves them. Why not put all of them in one can? And the Pringles people heard her. And so they did it. They put all of the Pringles in a can, and they sent it to her. And I'll show you. They also sent her a kit, so that when the can is empty, they sent her a bunch more full Pringles can. She can refill it, and they call it Pringles Mingle. Clever name, for your flavors to mingle with each other. So she shows it to her other Pringles fans, and they just go nuts. They are so excited. And then they read the small print on the can, and the small print said, "Not an actual product." So just like Pringles, which are not actual potato chips, this is not an actual product. They just did it for her. So I think I'm sure once they hear from all these other Pringles fans, they're gonna come out with Pringles Mingle. My prediction: watch for it in your store. Pringles date. I think we talked about this before. They date back to 1956. They were first started by Procter and Gamble. A chemist. They asked a chemist to come up with a new kind of potato chip because people were complaining, like John, that you can't eat them while you're driving. They're greasy, they're crumbly, the bags are hard to open. So he came up with this idea. Frederick Bauer was his name. Spent 2 years developing a saddle-shaped chip from fried dough and put them in the tubular can. So he was the guy who came up with those two things. Problem was they tasted terrible. So they pulled him off the project. But this is for my math friends out there. That saddle-shaped chip actually has a mathematical name for it. It's called a hyperbolic paraboloid. Hyperbolic paraboloid. So something to throw out at Thanksgiving dinner as you're munching on your Pringles appetizers. Did you know, people, you're eating a hyperbolic paraboloid? They're going to throw the can of Heinz turkey at you.
Oh, right, there it
is. So he couldn't make them tasty, so they brought in another researcher in Montgomery, Ohio, down around Cincinnati, and he reworked them and added flavor. And so his name is on the patent, even though the other guy invented them. They were originally called Pringles Newfangled Potato Chips, which raised the ire of all the other potato chip makers who said these are not chips. A chip is something that you chip off of a potato and deep fry. These are made from potato flour. So they sued, and the FDA said, yeah, or the whoever handles patents said, yeah, you're right. You can't call them potato chips. So they recommended to call them potato chips made from dried potatoes, which doesn't fit on the can. So they decided to call them potato crisp, and that's what they call them today, potato crisp. Yeah, only 42% potato in a Pringles. The rest of it is wheat starch, flour, potato flour, corn flour, rice flour, vegetable oil, salt, and seasoning. Now, here's something else I didn't know as I was doing research on this. Pringles actually have a competitor. Have you ever, did you know that, John?
I did not know that.
How about, I know Karen doesn't eat Pringles at all, so.
No, I don't.
No. So their competitor from Frito-Lay, these guys are owned by Procter and Gamble or maybe by Kellogg, I'm not sure. But Frito-Lay came out with their own brand called the Stacks because they're stackable, obviously. They also come in a mathematical shape, a hyperbolic cylinder. So they're more flat than the saddle shape of the Pringles for you math geeks out there. Stacks has the flavoring on the inner circle of the chip, while Pringles puts theirs on the outer surface so that it meets your mouth faster. They think way too much about this stuff. And the Stacks come in a plastic canister, same thing, while Pringles are packaged in a canister made from cardboard and aluminum. Best part of Pringles, you can eat, how many, John? 10 at once, 12, 15?
Oh, you could probably,
what's your record?
You can probably, I don't know, you can probably gun down 20 or so in one time. I mean, it's, I think
how many are in a can?
Well, my wife is always saying, did you eat the whole can? Did you eat the whole, did you eat the whole can? You know, it's like, I can't believe I ate the whole thing, like the old commercial from the 60s. I can't believe I ate the whole thing.
Oh my God! So I'm guessing then if you're probably not, you'll have Pringles for your snacks at the Ohio State Michigan game this weekend.
You know, I'm gonna say probably not. I mean, in the interest of domestic tranquility, I don't think I'm gonna do that. Because
there you go. Good, always a good decision. When in doubt, err on the side of domestic tranquility.
That's right. That's
now, here's something. Since we were talking, I did have a story about the Ohio Michigan game. Or slightly related to it, let's put it that way. And that's this next story here. So if you're watching the game, no matter which side you're rooting for, hope that this does not happen. And I'm going to put a picture up for those of you watching on YouTube, and I'll explain to you what we're looking at here. This is from a soccer match, football everywhere else in the world, I believe in Africa. And they had to stop the match because a rhinoceros, a baby rhinoceros, came onto the field. And this thing is at least the size of a very overweight cow.
Easily.
Yeah, the two guys, one looks like he may even be a player, are behind the rhinoceros, a very dangerous place to be, almost as dangerous as the front, attempting to push it off the field so that they can continue the game. Now, so it's going to be on the sideline watching, I don't know, rooting for one of the teams, I guess. So you know, after they saw it move, one of the teams actually tried to sign it to a contract, a 1-game contract for the rest of the second half, but they couldn't get a jersey over its head.
Well, that's going to be a problem.
That's a huge problem. You have to wear a jersey. That's in the bylaws.
Right. Wow.
So if you had a rhinoceros on your team this Saturday, John, which side would you put it on, offense or defense?
Put him on defense, I think. Put him on defense. Yeah.
Okay.
Hard to get around him. How would you get around that guy?
How would you get it? Very good. Yes. Karen, also a Michigan fan. Where would you put the rhino?
I would put him on the Ohio State bench.
Oh, good one, Karen. Good one.
Do what? To scare them or to
hey, he needs a place to sit down. Why not with Ohio State?
Not the answer I was expecting. Not the answer I was expecting, but a good answer. I would have put them on the kicking team because there's nothing to scare me. If I were receiving a kickoff, nothing would scare me more than see a rhino running down the field towards me. I would run back to the Michigan goal and put my knee down and say, "The heck with this." It's 7 points for Ohio State. Sorry.
Come on, Paul. That's a very unique picture.
But I couldn't believe it, John, when I found this story. Okay, one more little trivia story here, and then we'll get to sports. Well, actually, that's what this is, but in another sense. So this is another story, comes from Texas. At an annual dog walking event in Texas, they weren't just walking their dogs; they broke another Guinness World Record for they coloring the world's largest coloring book. Now, I'm sure none of us, the three of us, have colored in quite a while. So this was obviously for the kids who were attending.
Wow.
There's a photo of the coloring book here. This coloring book was 15 by 17 feet in size. Took over 500 markers to color the entire book. So these kids are climbing all over it, coloring dogs and animals and all different things there. They set a second record. There's some kids standing around. A second record for kids holding cell phones while asking their parents, "What's a coloring book?"
Yeah.
Apparently they're still popular. Coloring books go back to the 1880s. I didn't realize this. Two guys by the name of the McLaughlins invented the Little Folks Painting Book, is what they called it, and which was designed more for painting rather than coloring. And in fact, I'm not sure that crayons were even invented back then. The first popular coloring book, and you guys will remember this, it was the Buster's Paint Book from 1907, starring Buster Brown.
Oh, for the shoe company.
Yeah, Buster Brown was originally a newspaper cartoon, but the Buster Brown Shoe Company decided that they liked the name and the image, so they acquired it, and they became famous for selling shoes with Buster Brown coloring books. In fact, they spun off a separate division that did nothing but sell coloring books as advertising gimmicks. And back in the 1930s, up until the 1930s, they sold coffee, they sold pianos with coloring books. Times have changed. Yeah, times have really changed. Buster Brown goes back to 1902. He was named for the outfit that he wore, which was not brown. Actually, it was pink, but it was called a Buster Brown outfit. And it's still around. Yeah, I guess you can still get Buster Brown shoes. So
that was a big part when growing up. I remember that, and also if I'm not mistaken, wasn't the Buster Brown character then in the 50s? Okay, then didn't he have like a white shirt and like a brown shorts and a brown hat, or a white and brown hat, I thought.
Could be. You could be right there, John. He also had a very ugly dog.
Yeah, oh yeah, right. And what was his dog's name?
Tige, Tige, or Tige.
Right. That's exactly it. And his dog.
Really, I didn't even want to. Uglier than those two, that couple with the tattoos, Karen. That's how ugly it was.
He was I hate to say this, but he was a mangy mutt, so to speak.
Yeah. So,
what is this dog doing on the coloring book with sunglasses?
Posing.
He's looking.
Oh, of course he is.
Cool,
Okay.
Photo bombing. That's what the dog is doing.
Yes, cool.
All right. So, so there you go. There's our weird news for the week. Now let's. That means it's time for What in the World of Sports with John DiNallo. As always, every week I ask John to come up with an unusual, strange sport that we've never heard of, maybe something that we could participate in, or start a team in Cleveland. And John always manages to baffle us and impress us. So this week we have a theme, and it's Thanksgiving. So there's a theme to our sport this week, Karen and everybody out there. So take a listen and find out about our Thanksgiving sport while I line up some photos for John.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Paul. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our sport this week is turkey bowling.
Turkey bowling, okay.
Remember, we had fowling or bowling last
Bowling,
week.
that's right. Last week, that's right. Yeah.
Bowling as well, right? Okay, but this is not something that you do with Thanksgiving leftovers. No.
Oh, a turkey bowl. Okay,
Turkey bowling is meant to be played before eating Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh.
Okay, now turkey bowling is based on traditional bowling with a twist. A frozen turkey serves as the bowling ball, and then 10 plastic bottles of either water or soft drinks serve as the bowling pins. The turkey is bowled down a smooth surface like an ice or a soap-covered sheet of plastic.
Wow.
Turkey bowling is popular in minor league hockey in both the United States and Canada.
I didn't believe that. I've got a photo of a minor league hockey rink where they're bowling there. So this is John described this particular photo has real bowling pins here, but I think the original turkey bowling used water bottles.
There's a story behind this. There's a backstory.
Yeah. What's the backstory?
So the origin of turkey bowling is in an aisle of a grocery store. You did hear that correctly, a grocery store.
Okay.
An individual by the name of Derek Johnson, he claims to have invented turkey bowling in the year 1988 when he worked as a grocery clerk at a Newport Beach, California, Lucky's local grocery store. While he was in the store, he observed a manager who slid a frozen turkey across the floor and by mistake knocked over a soda bottle. That's where the idea started. And so he eventually became a self-appointed commissioner, get ready for this, of the Poultry Bowlers Association. And he went so far as to codify the rules and terminology of the game.
Of course.
For example, the foul line, FOWL, not UL, the gobbler, which is 3 strikes in a row.
Oh, yeah, good.
Turkey, right? Okay. Is it, when you have 3 strikes in a row, and the butter ball, which is a gutter ball, and then find the wishbone, which is a 7-10 split. Now,
that's good.
According to the official rules,
for those of you who have ever worked in a grocery store, you get, especially if you work second or third shift stocking shelf, you get bored beyond belief. And you can see how this would easily have been invented by bored people at a grocery store.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, but according to the official rules, then there's official rules.
Yeah.
A turkey is deemed to be too heavy to throw properly or to roll properly. A Cornish hen is allowed to be a lighter ball, so to speak.
Oh,
Now,
Cornish hen. So here's a photo of one with on a plastic sheet. So we've been looking at people bowling, turkey bowling in a grocery store. This is one where they're in some hallway with soap covered plastic sheet, as John described.
yes, and it's obviously to be able to increase, the speed of
There's a lady in an actual bowling alley bowling with
yeah.
Yes, sure. So, but
good form, by the way.
yes, and now there's a Cleveland flavor to the rest of the story, Cleveland, Ohio flavor.
Oh yeah. Oh, so there's a Cleveland angle to it. All
There's
right.
a Cleveland angle. There clearly is. So listeners in the Cleveland area that watch television are very familiar with turkey bowling because the local station, WJW TV, usually does its annual turkey bowl on Thanksgiving morning. But there's a twist, though. I happened to be watching WJW TV this morning, and instead of having the turkey bowl on Thursday, the turkey bowl is going to be held tomorrow morning.
Oh,
Wait. So in this version, though, okay, what is used are 15 cans, not 10 cans, 15 cans of canned cranberry sauce, and they are stacked in a pyramid shape and uses one bowl per round knockout tournament format. There it is. Paul has got the actual
the logo. Here's the actual garage.
Exactly.
Well, I think this is where they did it last year. Yeah.
Yes. Now, in WJW's version, again, people also win prizes. This is not just done for sport in the truest sense of sport for competition. There's prizes you can be gaining.
All right.
Anything from the grocery chain that's here in Cleveland, Giant Eagle gift cards, to monetary prizes.
All right.
And the contest is broadcast live on WJW,
Channel 8. Yes.
But it is also streamed around the world on WJW's website. So your people in Texas, your people in other parts of the world, possibly. We have listeners I know in Europe and what have you. Maybe
India. Yeah.
So maybe they've had a chance to see this. Now, a little more history. The broadcast began in 1999, and it was traditionally held at a random Giant Eagle grocery store, and that could be anywhere within Cuyahoga County, which is the county that Cleveland is in.
Right, yeah.
This year's contest, or excuse me, last year's contest was held in a local garage. Paul's showing that there, okay?
Yeah.
But celebrity contestants included former Browns legends Bernie Kosar and Greg Pruitt, and local mascots Slider and Mustard from the Guardians. Those are mascots for people that are not from the area, and Moondog from the Cavaliers.
Cavaliers, basketball. Yeah, how about that? Wow.
These sports are representing right now. These teams are representing with the Turkey Bowl. Now, if you are planning to do some turkey bowling this year, but you're not much of a bowler, just remember to tell your family this before dinner. Gutter balls are a great way to tenderize the bird.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
offering
that is, I mean, we all have our traditions. Maybe we can have a tradition and do that.
Why not? Why not? I missed this. I will definitely tune into it because it looks like a lot of fun, and it's for a good cause. We should go down there and wear our "What in the World" T-shirts.
We should.
We should get a little more publicity there,
Yeah, we could crash the Turkey Bowl. Yeah, that's right. All right.
Okay.
Turkey bowling from John DiNallo down at WJW. Boy, there's enough plugs for you, WJW. It's time for you to sponsor a show.
Yeah, really. They should be our sponsor.
Yeah. I think it sounds like fun. So that's supposed to be on tomorrow, the day before Thanksgiving. So we'll definitely be watching for that. Now, I had never heard of turkey bowling before John said he was going to be talking about it. But then I thought back and I thought, way back when John and I were in college, we tried a lot of weird things. And I think one Thanksgiving, we used to play football on Thanksgiving, if I'm not mistaken. We
We
had
did. Yes, we did.
fraternity football game. And then we were still so full of energy, we decided to come up with a game similar to turkey bowling, if I'm not mistaken. But the problem was that somebody found instructions. And by that time, I think we had already emptied a few kegs. And we didn't read the instructions very carefully. So our turkey bowling didn't turn out too well, mostly because we used a live turkey rather than a frozen one. So
who got those turkeys anyways? I'm trying to figure out who got those turkeys.
I don't know. We found them in the woods someplace, I guess. That turkey certainly doesn't look too happy, partly because the pins are so much bigger than him or her. I guess that would be a he. So anyways, turkey bowling from Cleveland, Ohio. How about that? John DiNallo, as always, what a great sport for us to lead into the Thanksgiving holiday with. So thanks so much for that.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Thanks.
That means that we have reached the everybody's favorite portion of the show, Bluff the co-host, everybody's favorite weird news game. I have 3 stories. If you haven't heard how to play before, these stories similar to the ones we've been listening to. One big difference: those were real. These could be real, could be a bluff. You don't know. It's up to you playing at home, Karen and John, to decide whether it's a real story or a bluff. Wagering is allowed. Place your bets. John and Karen, hands on your buzzers. Let's get right to story number 1.
Before you get there, I want you to know,
yes.
John has won so many. And yeah, I did win last week, but I'm asking our listener, Paul Reed, to help me today.
Good luck with that. Is he going to help? Yeah.
He's a good guy. He's going to give me all the right answers.
He does, really? Wow.
Maybe, I don't know. We'll find out.
He's been studying. Yeah. All right,
yeah.
Paul. Well, thanks for tuning in, by the way. So let's see. Put a puppet on one hand, Paul, and your hand on the buzzer on the other, or on your mouth. Paul will get that joke there. Okay, let's get to story number 1. The hot new gadget for this Christmas season comes from the makers of the Flowbee, the popular vacuum cleaner attachment with combs, brushes, and scissors for cutting your hair at home. While it works by attaching to most vacuum cleaners, one popular model is missing from their list. So this year, the Flowbee company teamed up with iRobot to make the Floomba, a Flowbee attachment for Roomba robotic vacuum cleaners. The Floomba has all of the same attachments as the Flowbee, and its vacuum hose comes with a special gasket that plugs directly into the vacuum compartment of the latest J7 model Roomba. The Floomba cost over $200, but that shouldn't be a problem if you can afford a Roomba. Rumor has it, hackers are already working on a cheaper model that will work with older Roombas. Okay, so the Flowbee people, that's the vacuum cleaner that sucks up your hair and allows you to cut it really on your own. They've come up with a Floomba to attach to the Roomba vacuum cleaner, which Karen, I know, is a proud owner of at least one. So what do you say, Karen, real or bluff?
Well, proud is not the correct word today, but no, you're fibbing on this story.
Okay, so Karen says it's a bluff. All right. Would you buy one if they were real?
No.
No. Okay. All right. John, how about you? The
I agree with Karen. That can't be true. How much trouble do you want to go through so you can be able to do that? So you can trim your hair and come on now. It's not preposterous, but it's almost preposterous.
Okay, tough talk from a guy who's wearing a hat.
And Paul Reed says it's true.
Oh, Paul Reed says it's true. Oh,
yeah, but I disagree with him.
But you're disagreeing with him. Okay, so we've got 3 players here. John and Karen say it's a bluff. Paul says it's real. Let's check with the judges. And the judges say, congratulations, Karen and John. That is real.
Sorry, Paul.
I mean, you were right. It's a bluff.
The bluff, okay, good.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
It restores
The
my
judges are
confidence.
very confusing. The judges already started nipping at the holiday wine here.
Yeah,
That is a bluff.
okay, good. Glad to hear that.
Okay, all right. So, Paul, you put your thinking hat on your head there, and let's get right to story number 2. For most people, this Christmas season, traditionally, the Christmas season traditionally starts on the day after Thanksgiving, but that may be a problem if you were looking to sit on Santa's lap and tell him what you want. The world's largest maker of Santa suits is warning that supply chain problems have caused a dire shortage of Santa suits from the main manufacturer in China. Yes, Santa suits come from China. If you didn't get yours already, there are none to be had at costume shops. They suggest finding a good used one or wearing some red pajamas. And if you don't have natural white whiskers, a good foam pillow can be both a belly and a beard. They hope to find a U.S. Santa suit maker in time for next Christmas. All right, so the story that from the makers of Santa suits, that supply chain problems have caused a shortage of suits this year. Real or bluff? What do you say, John?
You know, on first blush, you would think that this is not true because the supply chain boondoggle of a couple months ago is now gone in most cases, not all cases, most cases. But I'm going to take a different track on this one. I'm going to say that it is true I'm not exactly sure what reason, but I'm going to say it's true that there is a shortage.
Okay. All right. It comes from wearing that M hat there. So John says it's real. Karen, how about you? What do you say?
Well, I have to
shortage of
tell
Santa-
you, not only does John believe it's true, but Paul and I both say probably true.
Probably. So we don't accept probably. So that means it's true.
True.
So we
Yes.
have 3 truths. Santa suit shortage because of the supply chain, right? Let's check with the judges. Okay. And the judges say, way to go, writer. That's a bluff. There's no Santa suit shortage. And they don't make them in China. They don't know who Santa Claus is in China.
Look, they make everything in China. You know that.
China. We're up in arms on this one. Everything is made in China. What are you talking about?
Okay. All right, but not there's no Santa suit shortage. So when you go to sit on Santa's lap, he won't be pantsless. He will have his suit on. So okay, let's see. That means the score is see, Karen got one right. John has
One right.
No points, and Paul has 1 point. Wow. Hard for me to keep track of all this here.
We all have 1 point.
Good news is points are doubled in round number 3. So John, this is your chance to come back here.
Okay.
Okay. Let's get this. John's copping an attitude here.
I don't have an attitude. I have a lot of things. I don't have an attitude.
All right, I'm misreading it. He's a good sport. Okay, story number 3. Fans of groundhogs have been worried that the numbers of their favorite animal are down because Groundhog Day is not as popular as it used to be. That's why a group in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, have formed the Friends of Phil group to promote Punxsutawney Phil, their weather forecasting groundhog, for other jobs. First up is the World Cup, which Phil and his shadow have predicted will be won by the United States team, which, if you're a fan of this World Cup, is a long shot. Phil also predicts his home state, Philadelphia Eagles, will win the Super Bowl. When not making predictions, Punxsutawney Phil is now available for TV commercials and new business openings. The Friends of Phil promise he is well behaved, rarely goes to the bathroom while filming, and will work with the spotlight if there is no sun out from making shadows. So, a group called the Friends of Phil that's trying to promote more jobs for Punxsutawney Phil before all the groundhogs run out. What do you say, Karen? Real or bluff?
You know, now I understand why you've been a writer all your life. This one isn't even funny. So I'm going to say No.
Karen says it's a bluff. Oh boy. All right. Boy, tough crowd here. John, how about you?
I'm going to say it's a bluff also. And this is just recent thinking by me, I'd like to offer, okay, with Groundhog Day. All right. When I was younger or whatever, I'm going with Groundhog Day, right, or whatever it is, but like, it's really a lame event. I mean, it may be big in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. Nothing against people who reside there, nothing against the state, nothing like that, okay? But at the end of the day, it's really lame. And it's just lame. And so, and part of my bias that way is lending me to believe, like Karen says, that even that is not accurate what he does with the shadow. You give him other jobs. Come on now. No, I say it's clearly a bluff.
People in Pennsylvania, send your hate mail to John DiNallo, care of.
Hey, I offered the disclaimer. Again, there's a lot of
I know it's
Pennsylvania.
the event. I get it.
Yeah.
It's the event. It's the event. It's not the people. It's not groundhogs. We
Right.
welcome them as listeners, even groundhogs, I'm sure.
That's right, Paul. Thanks for having my back on that one. Thanks. Appreciate that.
Whew. All right. What does Paul say, by the way, Karen? Did he vote on
Paul
this one?
says, I say true. Groundhogs are the Santas of the animal kingdom. They only work once a year.
Well, there you go. That's the Santas of the animal kingdom. Now that's pretty good. I like that. We'll add that to our collection of collectibles. Okay, so Karen and John say it's a bluff. Paul says that's a real story. Let's check with the judges who are shaking their heads saying they agree with John. It's a lame holiday and it's a bluff.
Right, very good, Karen. Way to sniff that one out, so to speak.
Yep.
Wow. Well, yeah, there you go. So that means that Karen won again this week. That's 2 in a row for Karen. Wow. How about that?
You better tell Annette, John, that she better get better questions for you.
You know what? I think that's part of my challenge, Karen. I think that, as good as Annette's been for all this time to help prepare me for these shows, yeah, she's going to have to go to work on that a little bit. So
I hope you do.
So this is a warning to all of John's friends and family during Thanksgiving dinner and the Michigan-Ohio State game. John is going to have flashcards out. For those who remember flashcards.
Yes, right. We were just talking about those the other day.
Getting ready for Bluff to co-host next week. Holy smoke. All right, I think we've reached the end of What in the World. I want to thank Karen Hale, our producer, media mogul at newclevelandradio.net, and great co-host. Thanks as always for playing along with everything and being a good sport yourself and everything that you do for What in the World. Please, everybody, visit newclevelandradio.net. Download our show from the podcast. All of those shows, not all of them are on YouTube. We are on YouTube. But if you visit us on YouTube, follow us and do all those things so we know you're there. I'll just send a special shout out to our buddy Paul Reed for listening in and playing the game along with us. Paul, hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. John DiNallo, my old buddy, thanks for everything you do for the show. Thanks for the sport. Good luck with that game on Sunday. Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah, I tell you what, I can't. As I've been quoted many times, I can't wait for the game. So
there you go. That's right.
We're rooting for the Wolverines and go Michigan. Go.
Yes. That's right. Also for your high school.
For Holy Name for my high school
game on Friday night as well.
To Holy Name Green Wave to play the best they can against Canfield, and hopefully they'll be victorious on Friday and can continue on in the playoffs.
That's right. Absolutely. So then we hope John will be in a good mood again next week with a couple of victories under his belt. We're not even going to mention the Browns there. So
no, please don't.
Yeah, everybody out there for listening on your podcast, listening on your earbud, watching us on YouTube, on your phone or on the computer, whatever you do. Thanks so much. Thank you for coming to and listening to us every week. Everybody have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll